Morning. Hello again. Right, well, following on from the last episode, I need to get some calcium silicate, which is a very good insulator, and attach it to the wall. Now, there's sort of regulation stroke guidance about fires and thing on boats, which is very needed because obviously there's not both with heat and fire risk and carbon dioxide. There's plenty of risks to go. So happily, there's a leaflet called leaflet. There's an institution called Solfitec who are a solid fuel fire association, and they put out a guidance leaflet for boats, and which is very very helpful. And so they recommended to use this calcium silicate, which is really very. This is what they use inside kilns and pizza ovens. It's a very very good insulator at high, and even at high temperatures. So there is this, and then the way that it's used is you need to attach it to the wall with an air gap behind. Use some of the offcuts to leave a 1 centimetre air gap, and that then protects the wood etc. behind, and you don't start toasting your boats if you get the fire on. Well, that's half of it done. Obviously, I can't do that part because there's nothing to tile against yet. But yeah, it was a bit of a pain. The boards are so absorbent. You might have noticed I was trying to use the stick saw just to hold the spacing offcuts in place just while I was putting them up, and it just said it's so wicking, as it were, that even the stick saw wasn't has met its match and just didn't work. So. I ended up using I ended up basically pronging the offcuts, the spacer offcuts on the back of the screws that I used in. And also what I've done is I've used some offcuts. I've recessed the screws in, and then I put a bit of chunk of the calcium silicate over the top of the screw heads. Hopefully that will stop the metal screws being a sort of thermal bridge between the two, at least to some degree anyway. Well, stove is in the boat, and I have to greatly thank Dave and Chris for helping me get it in, and especially Chris. Chris is now vying with Dan for to be the strongman of the boatyard, because he can just lift this thing up like it's it's like a crate of oranges. Whereas, as you can tell, I can lift it up. It's not going to be swinging it around anytime soon. This rear flue wedge, which I ordered as an extra, basically what I didn't realise though, to do that you have to take the entire insides of the stove out again, take the collar off, taking all the fibre out and everything. So and there weren't any instructions. I've had to just sort of work it out. Happily, that's done now, and it's slowly inching into place. Well, there we are. More or less in place. I mean, not fixed in place. Obviously, you can see there's carb underneath just to protect the tiles, and the board to the side is it's actually the old floor that used to be there, just propped up to the side, just to give just to see what it's like with the, because I said that will be a cupboard there. So yeah, it's a long way to go till it's producing any heat, but it's one step, and it looks nice. It's a cute little thing. So the rest of the day is not going to be much in the way of actual physical progress, but I need to work out or calculate the items I need for the flue and all the connections. So and to go through for the rest for the radiators. So. Afternoon. Well, as forecast, the weather's cooled off a bit. Nowhere as bad as it was a couple of weeks ago, but like as hoped, the cold weather's brought the good weather, which is lovely. It's the weekend, so that allied with the good weather plus the weekend means that the boatyard is a hive of activity right at the moment, which is nice. And said everybody's in a good mood, even the owner. Yeah. I remember, and last reading some of the comments on the last episode, I think it was Arrowflyer commented that it was very good to get things done and out of the way, and not having lots of tasks on the go. I'm afraid to say, at the moment, I've got my finger in so many different pies and pots on the cooker, whichever metaphor you want to use, that it's just silly. However, they're all leading to eventual progress, I hope. So what I'm doing right at the moment is. As part of the stove leads on to plumbing, which leads on to fixing things in, and one of the things you need on the system is an accumulator at the start and a expansion tank for the hot water vessel, which are both round and both need to be having some way of securing them. So that's one in progress for one of the other one, and then I've used the actual semicircle for that to do the brackets, which I actually like better. I think it looks nicer, but neither of them you'll see, and one of them is going to be really quite inaccessible. So that will be that one, I think. So that's that. So I'll screw these up together and maybe give them a lick of varnish. Right. So while the glue's dry on those bracket thingies, another seemingly random but not job I need to do. So. Last episode, I put the partitions up, and I got quite a few comments online and offline. Like, oh, you've made great progress. I'm pretty sure I mentioned a time that I've had to now, since they were just wedged in place, to see what it looks like. Those are now down because I can't fix them up until I take a couple of roof panels down, and because I need to put some holes in the roof. I need to know where I'm putting the holes in the roof, and to do that, I also need to where the solar panels are. So. The idea was that many months ago I would have made the sort of the frames for mounting solar panels, but clearly that hasn't happened. I intend to as soon as possible, and it's in my sort of nearish term plan to do them. However, wanting to get on with other stuff, I'm just marking out where the panels will go. So these pieces of wood are the length of the panel, so I can see that, and I know the width. In fact, I'm going to do another template of that in a minute. But yeah, so you can see there's plenty of them. There's 4 here, and if I turn the camera, probably no, it's not too bad against the sun. But there's two of the other side of the roof light, so 6 in total. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I will mark these off with a pencil so they won't get washed off, and then I can slowly start thinking about where some holes might be. Not that's going to happen today, by the way. It's getting. The day's getting longer, but I've probably got an hour of sunlight left, and making holes in the roof is not something I'm going to start just now. Yes, I know, you're saying, what the bleep is that, Stephen? And what it is maybe it's some crazed idea, but I'm trying to get the curve of the roof, because for the solar boxes, they're going to be relatively shallow. And while I've had a fair bit of practice with the jigsaw cutting curves, I know that even with my best intentions, it goes blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to get this curve, so then I can hopefully use the I can't remember if it's router or router now. No, it's used to say the wrong word. The router. Yes, so I can use the router to route out the curve using the guide. But whether it works, it may be pointless, but I can at least try. Anyway, I'm just doing that one up here because obviously I need some wood to be able to cut that, and that's when I'm making the boxes. But I just thought, while it's nice and on the roof, I will make that up, and it's there for when I start. Meanwhile, it's also actually helping just to check the
the width for the boxes as well, so not a totally bad thing. Afternoon. What a lovely afternoon it is. In fact, if I do that, I can't even see. However, alas, I've not made the most of the lovely weather. I've spent all morning actually doing a very big shopping list for plumbing supply. Anyway, I'm here. I also, before I went any further, people won't believe it, but I have had a bit of a tidy up in here. All this area now is, at least, it may not be perfect, but everything is neat and sorted, and neat being a relative word. But it's all sorted out, I know everything is, which is great, and I vacuumed the floor, which makes things look better. Anyway, I'm on to the carrying on with my little, I'm going to say a bridge project, 'cause that's what it looks like now. So I've screwed the curve down, and now I'm going to do is translate it onto a piece of plywood and sort of rough cut it out before trying to get the router around it. Well, that's the plan anyway. So this is a bit I've never used before. It's one with a roller bearing at the bottom, and the whole point is that I'm hoping that will follow the guy that I've made and do a nice smooth edge. That's the principle anyway. Well, I have to say that worked better than I dared to hope. It's not absolutely mathematically perfect, but it's far better than I could ever have managed with a jigsaw. So yeah, I'm really quite pleased with that. That's good enough for me. And if you're thinking, why are you faffing around all this? Well, it's basically it's investment. I'm going to have to do 12 of these. Yeah, 12. So I thought that it's worth doing this template, just like I did for the portholes, and hopefully it will save me a lot of time. And the bit at the very end there, that's not part of the actual where the curve's going to be, so that doesn't matter, that doesn't fit, just FYI. So that's good. Anyway, I haven't got the wood to make these boxes yet. That's arriving sometime this week, but that's ready in preparation, so put that away and I'll go and think of something else to do. Morning. Well, it's perishing cold again outside. Beautiful, but really, really cold again. It's back to being minus in the boat when I wake up, which of course then gives me impetus to try and get the stove moved on. Alas, I phoned the Flue manufacturers yesterday, and they said, not surprisingly, with all the energy crisis and things, they're really scrambling to get wood fuel stoves. So there is a large, long wait list to get the fuel. So alas, neither you or me are going to be experiencing any hot stove action for a while. Probably by the middle of summer it will be installed. Anyway, I need to order it, and so I spent many hours, and it really was many hours, with the brochures and calculating, pulling out yet again my very dusty trigonometry, and I've worked out the Flue thing. However, as this thing is fiendishly expensive, before I went anywhere, before I put any order in, I wanted to just have a double check in reality. So that is, as you can see, I've codged up the Flue run in some pieces of scrap, and it fits because. Well, good, it fits. And also, happily, I marked off before I put these are where the ribs are, and the Flue will fit in between the ribs without any ado. And happily, although I had to actually change my original design because originally it was sort of getting too close to this to the combustibles, as it were. But this is obviously just scrap, but it's well away the required distances from the combustibles. This is going to be a double wall Flue, so it only needs to be 5 centimeters away. So that's good. Yeah. So I guess I will go and put an order in. So, before I do anything remotely like plumbing in, people who've been watching the start remember that I got this hot water calorifier from a guy called Jack, who was a few ways away.
He's gone now, although see him about. Anyway, Jack said it was a couple of years old. Now, since having looked at it, you know, caveat emptor and all that, I reckon it's probably more like 20 years old, especially looking at a, well, I don't know. It's maybe not 20, but it's certainly more than a few years old. There's a bit of corrosion stuff on the bottom. However, I've looked inside with a flashlight, and it looks sound enough. However, there is a bit of scale and stuff inside. So before I connect it up, I want to put a bit of descaler, which I bought. It's fiendishly expensive again. Anything to do with plumbing seems to be fiendishly expensive. Yeah, it's a lovely day. I've been doing sort of calculations and ordering all morning, and I just wanted to get outside, and this was something to do that's not involving sheet materials right at the moment. The only trouble is, you know, I think it's about 60 litres, and the water tap is over there, and I've only got these 5 litre bottles, so it's turning into be quite a back and forth between there, but hey ho. I did think about trying to lash some hoses together, but I reckon by the time I've done that, it's probably easy to just keep walking back and forth with these. And on the plus side as well, I'll get to measure just how much capacity this is. As my mother would attest, this is kind of me in my element. As a very, very small child, I used to spend all my free time just pouring liquid through random pipes. Sure, said it was obvious when I became a petroleum engineer later that that was going to be the case. Of course, as a child, I wasn't pouring acid through pipes, which I am doing now. And the reason this setup is to try and just get a bit through the inside of the coils, the one that's been used and has got a bit of crud in it, which seems to be working. I know it's hardly spectacular, but if you'd seen it before, that has come out really nicely. There was a huge layer of crud and scale on the bottom, that's gone, and all the fins on the coils are cleaner now. So it's been a bit of a faff, but not an unenjoyable one, I must admit. But I'm really pleased with that. Something I've been meaning to do for absolutely ages. I bought that descaler, well, pretty soon after getting this tank, which was pretty soon after I arrived. But yeah, great.
Morning. Well, I had a look at my clips that I've done so far, and I'm way over my sort of target 15 minutes. So I will say goodbye and catch you next time.